Hello and welcome to the Legacy Crusaders YouTube channel. This is Benji and I'm just doing a tournament report. Nothing crazy, not a regional or anything. Went 3-1 at locals, just playing a weird deck. Joshua Schmidt's been putting out a lot regarding Paleo and I've been testing it, so I really wanted to try different things. I finally got most of the cards I needed. So I put in a Snake-Eye engine and he's been doing some other stuff. So I wanted to see how that would go. Really, I want to play a Horus engine, but I'm still waiting on an Imseti. Here's the deck list as it was today. 3 Soldier Dragons and 1 Laundry Dragon Maid. So if anyone's new to this, the Soldier Dragons, whenever your opponent activates a card effect, can special a level 2 dragon from the deck. That includes other Soldier Dragons or a Laundry Dragon Maid. Laundry Dragon Maid on summon mills 3 cards from the top of your deck. Basically gives you level 2s to make your Paleozoic Ophibenias and your Animacalarises. I actually was trying to find my Nimble Beavers on my way out of the house and could not locate them. They were in my binder somewhere, apparently. But I wanted to play Nimble Beaver instead because I figured it would be better for time. If I wanted a normal Nimble Beaver, summon another Nimble Beaver, and just go into Gigantic for, what do you call it? Red Resonator for time. That felt like a better idea than trying to set up some other time win condition, because this deck takes a long time to play because you basically prevent yourself from being killable at any point. Next I was on 3 Black Witch, 3 Wanted for Black Witch. And I went with the 3 Black Witch because you play, what's it called? Needlebug Nest. And Needlebug Nest can mill Black Witch and Black Witch can summon itself during your opponent's turn, allowing you to send some traps to the grave you might want to get there, roll back, things like that. I was on 1 Original Sinful Spoils Snake-Eyes and 1 Sinful Spoils of Betrayal, Silvera, which is basically a breakthrough skill by sending a face-up Black Witch to the graveyard or Diabellstar monster. In this case, it never actually came up at any point, but basically you're supposed to just set this and keep Black Witch on the field, so it's having an Omni negate for anything, because it negates any face-up card. And if your opponent responds to the activation of your Black Witch while this is in the graveyard, you can banish it and negate that effect, which shouldn't really happen, but it gave me more cards to shuffle back with Wanteds, because I drew a ton of Wanteds, so I put them both back and drew cards. This card never got activated. This card got used a couple times. For the cards I summoned off of it were Jet Synchron. I played 2 Snake-Eye Ash and 1 Oak and 1 Flame Burge. The idea was Black Witch would then, you'd activate Wanted, search Black Witch would throw traps into the graveyard that you want there, like Transaction Rollback or the cards to trigger with Transaction Rollback, and then you would use Original to send away Black Witch, which would then summon Ash. Ash would then summon Jet, and then I could do a little bit with the Snake-Eye cards, but basically I was just making Formula Synchron. If I had a different card I can get onto the field, I wish I had a Poplar, which I don't have right now, but I need a Poplar. But the idea would be to have Black Witch and Jet Synchron make Omega, so you can re-loop Rise to Full Height, and at the same time make Jet Synchron draw cards they have a level 2 to make with the Paleos. So that was the idea. So basically, I summon Ash, summon Jet Synchron, make Formula, and then use Jet Synchron to discarding a card to bring it back and then make Omega. Also, I wasn't maining my Fenrirs, but I wanted to play Fenrir to keep a 7 on the field for that kind of combo, but I wound up siding them. It came up once in a game. And I'm on 1 Eldritch the Golden Lord. Just as a card you can banish off of Pot of Desires and bring it back with Leoncolia to just attack by sending one of the dead traps from the back row. I'm on 3 Tantalizing Tune and 3 Pot of Desires. I never used Tantalizing Tune's effect to return a trap to the deck. It was never necessary, but nice to know. I think I've heard you can just, if you need like a 2 of in your deck to use Trap Trick, and Trap Trick's like the best card in the deck, you can put a card you need just so you can resolve it. For the Paleos, I'm on 3 Dinomistrix, 3 Leoncolia, 3 Canadia, and 3 Olenoids. My biggest annoyance is you can't use Canadia on your own cards, so you can't use it just to activate a trap card. So Olenoids you can always use on your own cards. Morella you can use on everything, so 3 Morella, which is mostly sending rollbacks, playing 3 Trap Trick, which rollback copies to use Trap Trick to set a trap card that can be used that turn so that you can, so rollback turns into activating traps to trigger more Paleos. I was on 3 Destructive Daruma Dharma Cannon, 3 Rise to Full Height, which comboed with Omega in one of my matches, which was pretty cool. And I was on 3 Wabaku, 3 Needlebug Nest, and then a couple of 1-ofs. I don't know why I put in the 1 D barrier in the game that it came up in a game 1 setting. It was there to be a chainable trap card. I put in 1 Evenly Matched for the scenario that Elemental Burst wouldn't work, but if anyone's not familiar, Elemental Burst is a trap card that says tribute a wind, water, fire, and earth monster on your side of the field, and then destroy all cards your opponent controls. But when you copy cards with transaction rollback, you don't pay costs. So pretty much this card just reads, destroy all cards your opponent controls. And I did, how do you say, burst all over everyone a couple times. Twice I destroyed a Synchron deck. Game 1, round 1 I played against Synchron, and I won one game and lost another game where I Needlebug Nest like totally whiffed twice on hitting a card I needed. Then I played against Tempai Dragons, where I lost in time to their time card over my time card. Then I played against Adamancipator and just won. And round 4 I played against Labyrinth. And their traps were mostly triggering my traps, which was good for me. So that's the main deck that I was playing. And I definitely don't think this deck is finished whatsoever. I'm still like, I hated my extra deck today because I was in such a rush I didn't get it together very well. I was playing one Formula Synchron and one Omega as the payoffs for the Jet Synchron package, just to get a level 2, just to set up the Rise to Full Height loop. Also, this can like put cards back into the deck. I only had one Zeus and I wanted another Zeus for the tournament and I just couldn't get it. I did use this once to put back something weird. I forgot what it was. I think I had to put back a Snake-Eye Ash to have a card to summon off of original once. One totally awesome. I was on 2 Downerd because I was trying to get a second Zeus and I actually wanted to Downerd Zeus twice. And that didn't work, but theoretically your opponent might out your Downerd when you make a Downerd while going for Zeus, and then you can still Downerd Zeus over another XZ. So if you make Toad and Ophibinia, and then you try to turn Toad into Downerd, they might out it, and then you can turn Ophibinia into Downerd Zeus. It was on Gigantic Sprite, 1 Zeus. I had 2 Ophibinia, which is the card I go into most often, just because it's hard to get enough bodies to do more. Even Anima Colaris, I put in 2. I didn't really want to play 2, because I've never summoned the second one. Theoretically, if you get rid of one, then you can play the other one. And it didn't really come up. I did summon it once, but I never was in a position where I had enough monsters on the field to get to the second one. So I probably wouldn't want to play that. I have some ideas for what else should go in the deck. 1 Zealantis, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Cambrobraster, and 1 Marincis Coral Anemone. So you use the spent Olenoids and not Olenoids. You use the spent Ophibinia and a Paleo to go into Cambrobraster. Use another Paleo to go into Coral Anemone. Bring back Cambrobraster, go into Zealantis. You get waterlocked, you banish all your opponent's cards, bring back your card, and your unaffected monsters don't go anywhere. It's a way to clear the board to go for game. Basically, it came up like once or twice. One time I was going for it, and I lost to Rivalry in a game versus Tempai Dragons. Now, things that I wish were in here. 1, I would probably be cutting the second Anima Colaris, because I'm just not going to summon it. I didn't really have a good end board piece, like to actually go for game. Like I was constantly having Omega versus 3000 monster and just couldn't beat them. So I had to rely on traps to do that. So I feel like it needs something to clear monsters. That would be useful. And Ophibinia is not it. I'm sorry. The second Animal Colaris would not be it. I don't know what I would do for the second Zeus. I'd probably just cut one of the Downards and just rely on the Zeus. And I did Zeus a board that I had to like double Karmic Cannon a board. And then I had to Zeus it off of that against Labyrinth. Then, let's see, what else? I considered putting in Lyrilisk Independent Nightingale to summon off of all of the Snake-Eye cards. 1, it can attack directly, and it can make it so you can't die to Tempai, so it's like a Rise to Full Height, Wabaku type of thing. That was pretty good. That would be pretty good. I was considering playing some other Link 4 to go into, just to like pop cards, like an access code. At the moment, I'm not sure what I would cut. I don't know if this formula idea was that great. It was just an idea, something to try, something new and different to experiment with. My side deck I didn't like so much. Again, I had the Red Resonator in for the Nimble Beavers, which I never wound up getting access to. I had 3 Volcanic Shell, 3 Fenrir, which I wanted in the main deck and for the Omega formula play. Because whenever you're going second, I just went for big blowouts. I put in 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Feather Duster, and 1 Raigeki. Raigeki came up in a match against a Synchron deck in round 1. I put in the second and third evenly, again for going second, and then 1 Blaze Acceler reload for sending the Volcanic Shells as a Raigeki in game 3 when you can't afford to pay life points for a rollback. In the one game it came up, I top decked it off of Formula Synchron and Wanted Draw, and I managed to get it to grave to do 500 burn, and then the Tempai player had a level 7 Synchro Dragon that burned me for more than I did, because my turn was pretty short. Second D-Barrier just came in for whenever I wanted Trap Trick to be able to get into it. So in game 2 or 3, if I know this card was live. And that's all I tried. I wanted to try just cards to put the traps in the graveyard, so you weren't just bricked up on the traps. So it's just different options, things that people may not have seen or considered. Often you try to find ways to play the deck the way it used to be played, and we don't have reasoning at 3, we don't have grass, so the way to play the deck is you need to put cards into the graveyard and you need to get to other cards. So drawing cards is something you need to do, you need ways to discard, and I was thinking the Horus Engine would do both of those things, and the Horus Engine, at least, you just keep bringing the monsters back every turn. That gives you access to the rank 8 pool. That's stuff I wanted to do, but this stuff I was just trying because it's what I had on hand. Like one M-City away from playing all that other stuff. Oh, anyways, that's just my brief tournament report and just sharing the Paleo deck, mostly because I know it's being experimented with, but if you got to wait for someone to get a regional success to get any ideas, there's probably more to see. Basically, that's it. Thank you.